Welcome to Everything Currency. I'm your host, Jay, and today I just want to say good morning. First and foremost, to all my people out there watching, everybody in the crypto game right now, in this crazy, wild west game of crypto. I just want to talk about something that's been on my radar lately. So the bears seem to think that Bitcoin needs to take a big dive. All the people who are like hard into technical analysis and all this stuff always say, oh, Bitcoin needs to take a big dive and all this stuff. Me personally, if you pay attention to like the fundamentals and the charts like I do, you'll notice that like somehow, some weird way that, these chart patterns and these Fibonacci, sequences and stuff like that always seem to coincide with the news and seem to coincide with like random stuff that happens at the market. Like, you'll get a death cross and then all of a sudden the US comes out and says they're going to close, they're going to do a case against Bitmex, and next thing you know, everyone's talking about Bitmex, Tether, and that whole thing. It's not looking good, people. Like, just the fact of the matter that they're going to court is bad for Bitmex and Tether, because they have a product that normal citizens should not have been using according to the law, because you do have some people out there who are so stupid as to lose their money and then go and complain to the government that they need help to get it back in something that the government hasn't even regulated. So this is the reason why, like, the government's really got involved in the first place. Their whole excuse is they want to protect people, and at the end of the day, that's what they had to do. So many people are getting scammed that the government has to step in and protect people. This whole Bitmex and Tether thing, the way that supposedly they're just printing money and pumping the market and all this stuff, like, people need to be protected from that. Bitcoin cannot go to $1 million with all type of manipulation going on, where the foundation is, if 10,000 to 30,000 is all manipulation, like, what do you think's gonna happen when it gets to 100,000? It's just gonna, it's not gonna work. Secondly, Bitmex, in that whole situation with the CEO of Bitmex and their problem with the US, and the way that people have been speculating. I'm gonna say speculating, but we all know what's going on, man. When the shorts get too high, they liquidate them. When the longs get too high, they liquidate them. And Bitmex is the biggest, biggest exchange out there for doing that. Billions of dollars in volume. So you got billions of dollars of volume over at Tether. If Tether has some type of issue, now the problem with the Tether issue is if something happens and it is fractional reserve, everybody's gonna dump Tether. Now, when everybody dumps Tether, everybody's of course not gonna get their money because it's fractional reserve and a whole bunch of other stuff. If you don't know what fractional reserve is, that means that they only need to hold a fraction. So if they're going to issue out 1,000 tethers, they only need to hold 10 of them. So, and Tether keeps changing the wording. They can never show proof of all those tethers being around. Bitmex lost all this money. It's a whole like shit show, man. So between Bitmex, an issue between Bitmex and that issue between Bitmex, two of the biggest exchanges, like, you got something brewing right now that could definitely send the price back down to $2,000. You know what I mean? Imagine all the people who are gonna get out and capitulate if they have, a bunch of Tether and stuff, going on. Also, you hear that the Chinese are using Tether and they're going after You know, Chinese are using Tether because it just works better for them in their country right now than other things. And that's kind of interesting to think about, that they use Tether, they don't use Bitcoin, they don't use other stuff, they use stablecoin. But, you know, if, you know, it's just an adjustment game. Like, you know, if something happens to Tether, which we'll see, you know, like for the longest time, they haven't been wanting to show records for anything or be transparent. And when they got the lawsuit paperwork, they tried to dodge that too. So something happens to Tether, people might just go on to the next thing, maybe die, maybe something more decentralized, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, between Tether and this whole Bitmex thing and the government's, you know, the US government cracking down on those players. Excuse me. So early in the morning, 6:30. Yeah, the US cracking down on those players, man. That's a storm big enough to send the price down to 2,000 or down to 6,000, which would probably cause people to capitulate. And that's what capitulation is. People stop using this word capitulation when we've been having an upwards trend for the longest time. Everybody, capitulation's coming, capitulation's coming. Man, you don't even know what capitulation is. Capitulation is not coming because we haven't had the setup for capitulation. Capitulation is when it's been a bear market for a while and people lose hope and people start dumping in fears that they're not going to be able to save all their money. Right now, Bitcoin just came from 3,000 all the way up to 14,000, and anybody who's in at 3,000, I don't think they're having fear right now. You know, people who bought at 14,000, they're having fear right now. People who are waiting to buy in, they're having fear that they're going to miss out. So sometimes the fear and greed index is a little bit off. But yeah, man, we got a perfect storm that could send everything down. The good thing is you got people like me and a bunch of other people who are saying, boy, if I ever see a $2,000, $3,000 Bitcoin again, I'm about to buy as many as I can. As many as I can. Also, there's that whole other situation with Satoshi. You got Craig Wright. Craig Wright is Satoshi, somewhat. If Satoshi is a group of people, then that means that Craig Wright could be Satoshi. He could be the sat part. And then you got David Klein. I think David Klein was the mastermind behind it. Just look at who the guy was and what he did for a living. And I think his estate knows that. I think Craig Wright knows that, but they're not. Craig Wright ain't gonna say it because he's trying to be Satoshi, but he's an idiot. The estate, they're not gonna say that. They just want their Bitcoin, and they don't want to have any issues, so they're not gonna admit if he was actually the real Satoshi. But we pretty much know who Satoshi is, and since he's dead, hey, hooray for decentralization. RIP to the man, the creator, Satoshi. But you have his brother, who everyone is scared that he's going to dump a bunch of coins on the market. Now, he's not going to dump a bunch of coins on the market, I don't think. But he's going to dump a little bit, for sure. I mean, of course he's going to dump what he needs to pay for taxes, which I don't think that's going to hurt the price that much. You know what I mean? Looking at the volume that we've been having every day, his little $2 billion is gonna, you know, that won't hurt that much. And they're probably gonna do it over OTC, so we'll see. We'll see. Most likely it's gonna be done over OTC if he does sell all crazy. And he needs to sell fast to pay taxes. It's gonna be done over OTC. But that's when the trust gets. I don't really know the whole case. I don't want to talk about it like I know, but I believe that's from what my understanding was. There's trust about these coins, and that's when it's supposed to happen. But I also heard that they lost the private keys to a lot of those coins. So I don't know if they're talking about. I don't know if the coins that they lost the private keys to are the same coins that the Klein family is expecting from Craig. So if you can put in the comments, if somebody can verify it for me, like, is there the private keys? I mean, the contract, the partnership that they had, is that for Satoshi's wallets that has all that Bitcoin in it, or is that for just more Bitcoin that they mined in the beginning between Craig and Klein? Help me out with that one, because I didn't really look into it all that crazy. I was just like, oh, that's interesting. It doesn't really matter, but it's interesting to know. Cool stuff, Too bad Craig Wright is an idiot and you can't trust anything he says, and he can't just tell you what really happened. So, people want fame. People want fame. So yeah, man, there's a storm brewing right now, and it's not looking like a good one. But I'll tell you what, if the price dips that low, even back down to our low, what I think the low is right now is 6,000. There should be some major jumps. Like I picture some major jumps like right away. It might wick down as soon as the news happens. Like, oh my God, Bitfinex has gone down. Panic, 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 panic. $2,000 off on Bitcoin. Sale. People are gonna snatch it up because they don't give a shit. You're just waiting for it. At this point, if you've been in crypto for a long time, you're waiting for it. Everybody who's worried about some of these things, they're noobs, man. Even if you're new, don't act like one. Ooh. Yeah. Like and subscribe. Turn on post notifications. Peace.